The dining hall was in chaos. Tables floated toward the ceiling. Cadets grabbed onto chairs, shouting in panic. Food drifted through the air in slow motion, and a bowl of soup spun lazily, spilling perfect droplets that hung like tiny planets into the doorway. Cadet Hyan watched and smiled. His blue-gray skin rippled slightly with amusement. All four of his arms folded across his chest as he admired his work. The gravity system had been easy to hack. Too easy. Where's the challenge anymore? Cadet 13. The voice cut through the noise like a blade. Hyan's smile faded. He turned slowly. Commander Tiang stood behind him, face dark with anger. All three of his eyes locked onto Hyan. Most cadets would have been terrified. Hyan wasn't most cadets. Yes, Commander, he said calmly. My office. Now. The walk was short. Hyan had taken this path many times before. He knew every hallway, every turn, every crack in the metal walls. The Galactic Naval Academy floated above Velcro's prime like a giant wheel, spinning slowly to create gravity. Except in the dining hall. Not anymore. The commander's office was small. Clean. Perfectly organized. Everything had its place. Commander Tiang sat behind his desk and stared at Hyan for a long moment. Hyan stared back. This is the 37th incident this cycle, Tiang said quietly. 37 times you've disrupted Academy operations, 37 times you've endangered other cadets, 37 times you've shown complete disrespect. Hyan said nothing to it was all true. Your family has protected you until now, Tiang continued. But even they have limits. He leaned forward slightly. This ends today. One more incident, Cadet 13. Just one more, and you're expelled. Do you understand? Yes, Commander. Hyan's voice was flat. Empty, dismissed. Hyan left the office and walked back toward the cadet quarters. Other students noticed him immediately. Some stepped out his way. Others whispered, Cadet 13, everyone knew him, even if they didn't use his name. Inside the shared quarters, his roommate, Jivun, sat on his bunk, reading. Jivun was smaller than most Velcrosians. Quiet. Focused, he looked up. How bad was it? He asked. Final warning, Hyan said, dropping onto his bunk. One more mistake, and I'm out. Good, Jivun muttered. Hyan turned his head. What was that? Nothing. But his face said everything. Jivun just wanted to graduate. Instead, he was stuck with the Academy's biggest problem. Hyan closed his eyes. He should feel worried. He should feel scared. But he didn't. He felt bored. The Academy was too easy. The rules were predictable. Even expulsion didn't feel real. The door chimed. Jivun opened it. A tall cadet stood outside. Miho. Perfect uniform. Perfect grades. Perfect reputation. Is 13 here? He asked. What do you want? Hyan replied from his bunk. Miho stepped inside. Did you hear? Hear what? They're bringing a human. Hyan sat up. A human? Exchange program, Miho said. From a new Terran alliance. One of their officers is coming here to train with us. He almost sounded disgusted. A human, he repeated. Now Hyan was interested. For the first time in weeks, he had heard of humans. Everyone had a new species. Recently discovered. Recently advanced. They had just unlocked faster-than-light travel. But physically, weak. No claws, and no fangs, and no armor. Just 2 arms. 2 legs, soft skin. When? Hyan asked. 3 days, Miho said. They're making a big deal out of it. Cultural exchange. Cooperation. He scoffed. As if we have anything to learn from them. After Miho left, Hyan lay back down slowly. A smile spread across his face. A human. Something new. Someone who didn't know him. Someone fresh. The possibilities were endless. Don't, Jivun said quietly. Don't what? Whatever you're thinking. Don't do it. You heard the commander. Hyan smirked. I'm not planning anything. He was lying. His mind was already racing. Small things first. Mess with the door lock. Switch the food. Change the training settings. Nothing serious. Just enough to have fun. The next 3 days felt painfully slow. The entire academy buzzed with rumors. Some cadets were curious. Some didn't care. Some were excited. Hyan listened and gathered information. Humans were weaker than most species and owned natural weapons. Their planet had strong gravity, but not as strong as Velcro's. Their technology was behind. They were new. Unproven. Oh, why did the Galactic Council accept them? Why bring one here? Hyan didn't care. He just wanted something new. On arrival day, all cadets gathered in the main hall. Commander Taeyang gave a long speech about unity and cooperation. Hyan stopped listening after the first minute. Finally, cadets, I present Enan Dion of the Terran Defense Force. The human walked onto the stage. Hyan leaned forward slightly. Studying him, he was tall for a human, but average compared to Velcrosians. Dark hair, dark eyes, light brown skin, simple uniform, oh decorations, and oh arrogance. He carried a duffel bag and a small carrier. Thank you, Commander, the human said calmly. I'm honored to be here. I look forward to learning from all of you. That was No speech. No pride. And oh showing off. He stepped back. The room murmured. Some cadets looked disappointed. Hyan kept watching as the human walked past him. Their eyes met. For a brief moment. Those eyes, they were calm, deep, steady. They didn't judge. They didn't react. They just saw. Then the moment passed. Hyan leaned back slowly. Something felt off. Something small. Unfamiliar. Was that worry? No, impossible. He smiled again. Let the fun begin. Inside the carrier, something moved. Yellow eyes opened in the dark. A low, quiet purr. The human had arrived, and he hadn't come alone. Dion's quarters were simple. A bunk. A desk. A locker. A small bathroom. Nothing special. Nothing impressive. Just enough space to live. Hyan waited one full day before making his move. Let the human settle in. Let him relax, then strike. The first prank was easy. Hyan hacked the door lock. Changed the access code. He watched for down the corridor, hidden behind a panel. Dion arrived after training. Stopped at the door. Entered the code once. Twice. 3 times. Nothing. He paused. Looked at the panel. And oh, anger. And oh, frustration. Instead, he pulled out a small tool. Opened the panel. His fingers moved quickly, precise, confident. The door slid open, and Dion walked inside, like nothing had happened. Hyan frowned. That wasn't the reaction he wanted. Fine. Second prank. This one will be better. He hacked into the training simulations. Changed Dion's next exercise. Impossible scenarios. Asteroids moving too fast. Enemies appearing out of nowhere. Systems failing with no fix. A trap. Perfect. Hyan watched from the observation room. The simulation began. Asteroids filled the screen. Dion didn't try to avoid all of them. He flew through narrow gaps. Took damage, but stayed on course. Enemy ships appeared. He didn't fight. He hid. Used the asteroids as cover. Escaped. Every trap, every impossible situation. He didn't fight it. He adapted. Changed his approach. Accepted what he couldn't control. And found another way. When it ended, he stepped out of the pod, sweating, breathing hard, smiling. Commander Taeyang stood nearby, watching. Interesting approach, he said. Not standard. No, sir, Dion replied calmly. But it worked? Taeyang nodded. Indeed. Hyan felt something tighten in his chest. This wasn't right. Where was the frustration, the anger, the complaints? That evening, the common room was crowded. Cadets gathered around Dion, asking questions. Is it true your planet has only one intelligent species? Yes, Dion said. Humans. How strange, Suji said. On Velcros, we have 4. We have many animals, Dion added. Some are dangerous. Miho laughed. What could be dangerous to something like you? Dion just smiled, didn't answer. Instead, he reached down, opened the carrier. I'd like you to meet someone. A small creature stepped out. Black fur, 4 legs. Long tail, sharp ears, yellow eyes. This is Bowie, Dion said. She's a cat. The cadets leaned closer, curious. Jivan carefully reached out. Bowie sniffed his hand, then allowed him to pet her. A soft rumbling sound filled the air. What is that? Jivan asked. Purring, Dion said. It means she's comfortable. She's cute, Suji smiled. Is she a baby? No, Dion said. She's fully grown. Cats are small predators. Miho scoffed. That? A predator? Size isn't everything, Dion replied calmly. T the doorway. Hyan watched silently. T a military academy. How soft. How pointless. Then, Bowie turned, her eyes locked on a Hyan, still, focused, unblinking. Hyan stared back, refusing to look away, but something felt wrong. Those eyes, too aware, too sharp. The room faded, voices blurred. Only those eyes remained. Watching, waiting, her tail moved once, twice. Then, she looked away, and Hyan could breathe again. Can she do tricks? Jivan asked. Not really, Dion said. Cats don't follow orders like dogs. They choose what they do. Bowie jumped down. She moved silently across the floor. An O sound, an O effort. She explored corners, walls, spaces, mapping everything. Cadets tried to follow her. They couldn't. She was always one step ahead, jumping to places that seemed too high, slipping through spaces too small. How does she do that? Suji asked. She's built for it, Dion said. Flexible, fast, precise. Miho tried to grab her. She moved instantly, effortless, and gave him a look to don't try that again. Miho pulled back, embarrassed. Hyan left the room. Something fell off. He couldn't explain that IT was just a small animal. Harmless, right? That night, he planned again, bigger this time, better, something that would finally get a reaction. But first, he needed access to Dion's room. He waited until the corridors were quiet, then moved, fast, silent. The lock opened. The room was clean, organized, everything in place too. Perfect. Hyan stepped inside, moved toward the locker. Then he heard it, but a soft sound. Barely there, he froze, slowly turned. Bowie sat on top of the locker, watching him. Yellow eyes glowing in the dim light, still silent, waiting. Go away, Hyan whispered. No movement. I'm not afraid of you. But his voice wasn't steady. Bowie tilted her head, like she understood, like she knew. Hyan took a step forward. Her pupils widened, her body tightened. Ready for something. Hyan stopped, then took a step back, then another, then turned and left fast. The door shut behind him. His heart raced. His hands shook. Why? It was just a cat. Just a pet, but those eyes, they remembered something, something old, something that hunted. That night, Hyan didn't sleep well. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw them, watching, waiting. Tomorrow, he told himself, tomorrow would be different. The human was nothing special. The cat was nothing special. Tomorrow, he would prove it. But deep down, a small voice whispered, what if you're wrong? Hyan didn't stop. Fear faded. But pride didn't. If anyone found out he had backed off because of a small animal, his reputation would be gone. So he kept going. But now, he avoided Dion's room. Too quiet, too watched. Instead, he moved to public areas, safer. Or so he told himself. The next prank, the communal showers, that he rewired the system. Hot became cold. Cold became freezing. Dion stepped in, turned the control. Cold water blasted down. Hyan waited for a reaction. Nothing. Dion just stood there, took the shower. Finished it. And oh complaints. In oh anger. Next, uniform swap. Hyan replaced Dion's training uniform with one covered in ridiculous patches, bright, loud, embarrassing. Dion wore it anyway. Didn't react, didn't care. Next, language settings. Hyan switched Dion's data pad to ancient Volcrosian, a language no one used anymore. The next day, Dion navigated it, changed it back, like it was nothing. Every prank failed. Every single one. And worse, the cat. Bowie was everywhere. Everywhere. Hyan turned a corner. She was there. Entered a training room. She was watching. Dining hall, under the table. Always there, always watching. The other cadets loved her. They fed her, played with her, followed her. She allowed it. Sometimes, but with Hyan, she never came close. Never let him touch her. Only watched. Always watched. You're being paranoid, Jivan said one night. She's just a cat. She's always there, Hyan muttered. Every time I turn around, she's watching me. Maybe she likes you. Hyan shook his head. No, that's not what it feels like. So he started researching. Earth animals, cats. The Academy database had everything. And what he learned didn't help. Cats were hunters. Ambush predators. They stalked, waited, struck at the perfect moment. They could see in low light, moved silently, react faster than most creatures, and even after thousands of years, they were still the same, still hunters. Humans lived with them, fed them, trusted them. Not because they were safe, but because they chose to stay. That thought stayed with Hyan. Uncomfortable, unsettling, training continued. Dion worked with the others. He wasn't the strongest, not the fastest, but he never stopped, never quit. When he fell behind, he kept going. When he failed, he tried again, over and over. Miho noticed point one day in the training hall. He stepped forward. "I challenge you," Miho said. "Combat simulation. One-on-one." Dion looked at him calmly. "Why?" "I want to see what humans can really do." Commander Taeyang overheard. "Good," he said. "Tomorrow morning." The next day, half the academy came to watch. Combat simulations were popular, fast, intense, competitive. Hyan stood with the others, watching, not out of curiosity, to at least that's what he told himself. Miho entered first, confident. Ready. Dion followed, quiet, focused. Bowie sat nearby, close to Hyan. He hadn't even noticed her arrive. The simulation began. A damaged space station. Point 2 opponents. Point 1 goal. Win. Miho moved fast, precise, aggressive, clearing rooms, advancing quickly. Dion moved differently, slower, careful, checking corners, avoiding direct paths. "He's running," someone said. "No," Suji replied softly. "He's thinking." Miho completed one objective, then another. The crowd reacted. Victory looked obvious. Then Dion stopped, positioned himself in a narrow corridor between Miho and the final objective. Waiting, Miho charged in, confident. That's when everything changed. Smoke filled the corridor like a grenade. Vision gone, confusion, and Dion moved. Not like a Velcrosian. Not by the rules he climbed. Used walls, angles, height. Attack from places no one expected. Miho was better trained, stronger, faster, but Dion was unpredictable. Point 3 minutes, that's all it took to IT ended, with Dion above him. Weapon aimed, silence filled the room. Then, clapping, Commander Tang. "Excellent work." Miho stepped out, angry, defeated. Dion stepped out, breathing hard. "Good match," he said, and offered his hand. Miho looked at it, then walked away. Didn't take it. After that, everything shifted. Cadets started paying attention, asking questions, listening. Respect grew, and Hyan watched. Something twisted inside him. Not fear, not exactly. Something worse. He was being replaced, forgotten for the first time. He wasn't the center. Oh, he decided. Enough. Point 1 last move. Point 1 big one. That's something no one would ignore. Something that would remind everyone who Cadet 13 was. The academy exam was coming. Important, serious. Hyan broke into the system. Carefully, quietly, he planted evidence. Fake records, showing Dion had accessed the test early. Cheating, instant expulsion, and excuses. Not even for a human. That he leaned back, satisfied. This would work. Everything would go back to normal. That night, he returned to his room. Jivan was asleep. Hyan lay down. For the first time in weeks, he felt in control. His eyes closed. Almost asleep. Then a sound, soft as a small thump. Hyan's eyes snapped open. Bowie sat on his desk, still, watching. The data pad glowed. Active. Open. The files. The fake evidence. Hyan froze. Slowly. Bowie lifted her paw, extended her claws, sharp, precise, and dragged them across the screen. The files glitched, corrupted, deleted, gone. "No," Hyan whispered. He started to move. Bowie turned. Those eyes, glowing. A low sound. Not a purr, a warning. Hyan stopped, completely still. The last file disappeared. Bowie stepped down, walked to the door, paused, looked back, then vanished into the dark hallway. Hyan sat frozen, shaking. That wasn't possible. Animals didn't do that. They couldn't, but he saw it, and now he understood. Bowie knew. She stopped him. And if she could do that, what else could she do? That night, Hyan didn't sleep. Not at all. That he lay still, listening, waiting for footsteps, for breathing, for those eyes to appear in the dark, the hunter and the hunted. And for the first time, Hyan wasn't sure which one he was. Hyan started to change. Not by choice, by pressure, by fear, by something he couldn't explain. His performance dropped. Combat simulations worse. Tests, mistakes, training distracted, unfocused. Commander Taeyang noticed. Cadet 13. You look unwell. Report to medical. The doctor scanned him, checked everything. Nothing. Physically, he was fine. Are you sleeping properly? They asked. Yes, Hyan lied. How could he explain that he was afraid of a cat? That he couldn't close his eyes without seeing those yellow eyes watching him? Jivun noticed too. You don't look okay, he said. I'm fine. You haven't slept. Mind your own business. Jivun went quiet, but the concern stayed. Even he, who had suffered through Hyan's chaos, was worried. And the worst part? Bowie hadn't done anything to no attacks, no scratches, no threats. She just watched. Always watching. Appearing in places she shouldn't be. Moving like she owned the station. One afternoon. Suji gave a presentation. Earth biology, she said. Hyan wasn't interested, but he stayed. Listened. Earth has more predators per square kilometer than almost any known planet. Images filled the screen. Creatures with teeth, claws, hunting instincts. Humans evolved in this environment. They aren't the strongest, not the fastest, but they are persistent. They hunt by chasing their prey until it can't run anymore. Hyan felt something cold inside him. Persistent, like Dion. Like how he never reacted, never stopped, never broke. Suji continued. Humans didn't just survive predators. They lived with them. Dogs, pack hunters, and cats, ambush predators. An image appeared. Bowie, calm, still. Watching. Cats are perfect hunters, Suji said. Flexible, silent, patient. They can wait for hours. Watching, waiting, for the perfect moment. Hyan gripped his seat. His hands shook. They were never fully domesticated, Suji continued. They chose to stay with humans. They still have their instincts. They're still predators. Silence filled the room. Humans don't fear that, Suji said. They respect it. They even befriend it. Hyan sat still. One thought repeated in his mind. Humans befriend predators. What does that make humans? The next field exercise came. Zero gravity training. A maze of corridors, simulating space repairs. Dangerous, controlled. Hyan, suited up, followed the routine. But his mind was somewhere else. The exercise began. Cadets spread out. Hyan work alone, fast, efficient like always, until something went wrong. His oxygen gauge dropped. Too fast that he checked the system. Everything looked fine, but the numbers didn't. Live point 10 minutes. Not enough. He activated his communicator. Cadet 13. Suit malfunction. Request extraction. Static. Nothing. No response. His communicator was dead. Panic rose. He forced himself to stay calm. Think. Move. Find the exit. But in zero gravity, everything looked the same. Corridors. Walls. Turns it. In no direction. 5 minutes. His breathing got faster. Worse. Using more oxygen. He tried to slow down, but his thoughts were breaking apart. 3 minutes. His vision blurred. His body felt heavy. Unstable. 2 minutes. He hit a wall. Couldn't correct himself. Couldn't think clearly. This was it. This was how he died. Not in battle, not in training, but alone. Because of mistake. Because of himself. Then a hand grabbed him, strong, pulled him forward, fast, confident. Through the maze, Hyan barely saw a gray suit, human, Dawn, moving like he knew exactly where to go, and no hesitation, and no confusion. Straight to an emergency station. He connected an oxygen line. Air rushed in. Hyan gasped, coughed, pain in his lungs. Breathe slowly, Dion said. You're safe. Hyan looked at him. How did you find me? Dion didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked beside them. Hyan followed his gaze and froze. Bowie, floating in zero gravity, wearing a small suit, her yellow eyes shining through the visor. She knew. Dion said, she led me to you. Hyan stared at a cat, saved him, a predator. Save its prey. Commander Taeyang's voice came through. Report. Cadet 13 had a malfunction. Dion said calmly. He's stable. Extraction team incoming. Silence followed. Hyan looked at Bowie again. This time, he didn't feel fear. Something else. Something Different. She placed her small paws on his helmet, looked straight at him, and for the first time, he didn't see a hunter, he saw understanding. The rescue team arrived. They checked the suit and found the truth that IT wasn't an accident, that IT was sabotage. The oxygen system, the communicator, tampered. Delayed failure. Commander Taeyang was furious. Who did this? Hyan stayed silent because he knew that IT was in point one of his own earlier setups. He had grabbed the wrong suit. His own trap. Almost killed him in medical. He lay still, staring at the ceiling. Dion entered quietly, Bowie on his shoulder. How are you feeling? Dion asked. I'm alive. Because of you. And her. Dion sat beside him. I know what you've been doing. Hyan didn't react. The pranks. The sabotage. Everything. Silence. I didn't report you, Dion continued. Because I understood. You were bored. You wanted attention. You didn't think it would matter. Hyan finally spoke. Why did you save me? After everything, Dion looked at him. Because that's what we do. Humans. We help, even when it's hard, even when it's undeserved. Bowie jumped onto the bed, sat on Hyan's chest, started purring. Soft, steady. She wasn't trying to scare you, Dion said. She was warning you. Cats understand boundaries. When you cross them, they let you know. Hyan slowly raised his hand, touched her head. She didn't move away. I'm sorry, he whispered, for everything. Dion nodded. I know. Now you decide what comes next. Hyan closed his eyes, for the first time, not from fear, but from understanding. Commander Taeyang's investigation took 3 days, 3 long days. Hyan stayed in medical, recovering. Thinking, for the first time in his life, he didn't feel bored, he felt aware that of everything he had done. When he was released, he was summoned immediately. The walk to the commander's office felt different now, that he noticed things, the silence, the structure, the order, things he had ignored before. Sit, Taeyang said. Hyan Saturday, Bowie jumped onto his lap. Calm, quiet. Taeyang placed a data pad on the desk. We traced the sabotage. Hyan said nothing. The oxygen system was tampered with 3 weeks ago. The same day you accessed the equipment storage. Silence. We also found evidence of other incidents. Door locks, training systems, personal equipment, all leading back to you. Taeyang leaned forward. Do you deny it? Hyan shook his head. No, Commander. Why? Hyan took a breath. Because I was bored. Because I wanted attention. Because I thought nothing could touch me. A pause. I was wrong. Taeyang watched him carefully. Your family has already contacted me. They want to protect you. No, Hyan spoke quickly. I don't want that. Taeyang raised an eyebrow. You don't. I want to face it. All of it. Silence filled the room. Why the change? Taeyang asked. Hyan looked down at Bowie. Then back up, because someone saved my life when I didn't deserve it. And because I finally understand what I was doing. I don't want to be Cadet 13 anymore. I want to be Hyan. Bowie purred softly. Taeyang leaned back. I could expel you. You've broken multiple rules. Endangered lives. Damaged academy systems. Expulsion would be justified. I understand. Another pause. Then, there is another option. Hyan looked up. Ian and Dion submitted a request. He asked that you be given a chance. Redemption. He volunteered to mentor you. Hyan blinked. He did? Yes. Taeyang's voice hardened. This is your last chance. Not because of your family. Because someone believes you can change. If you accept, you will work harder than ever. You will follow every rule. You will serve others. One mistake, and you're gone. Hyan didn't hesitate. I accept. The program was brutal. Early mornings, extra training, endless work, cleaning, maintenance, studying late in the night, and shortcuts, and excuses. Dion was always there, steady, calm. When Hyan struggled, he explained. When Hyan felt overwhelmed, he reminded him why. When Hyan wanted to quit one more day, Dion would say, you can do one more day. And Bowie, always nearby, watching, not as a threat anymore, as something else, a reminder. Jivan noticed the change. You're different, he said one night. Better or worse? Hyan asked. Better. A pause. You asked me about my day. You've never done that before. Hyan lowered his head slightly. I'm sorry. For everything. Jivan was quiet. Then, you're trying now? That matters. Weeks passed, then months. Hyan improved. His scores rose, his focus returned. Cadets stopped avoiding him. Some even respected him. Miho approached him one day. I heard what happened, he said. Hyan waited. But doing the program. That takes more strength than I thought you had. I'm trying, Hyan said. Miho extended his hand. Train with me sometime. Hyan looked at it, then shook it. I'd like that. Final exams came. Hyan studied harder than ever. Dion helped him prepare. Tested him. Pushed him. The night before, Hyan couldn't sleep. Not from fear, from pressure, a soft weight landed on his chest. Bowie, she curled up, purring, steady, calm. Hyan closed his eyes, and for the first time he slept peacefully. The exam was hard but fair. Hyan finished it, exhausted but satisfied that he had done his best. Results came that he passed. Not the top, but strong. Earned, Commander Tang stood before him. Cadet Hyan, no. Number, just his name. You are restored to full status. Hyan nodded. Thank you, Commander. Taeyang paused. Thank Dion. He's the reason you got this chance. That night, the academy celebrated. Cadets gathered, relaxed, happy. Hyan found Dion sitting quietly. Bowie on his lap, he sat beside him. Thank you, Hyan said, for everything. For saving me. For not giving up on me. Dion smiled slightly. You did the work. I just helped. Why? Hyan asked. Dion looked down at Bowie. Then back at him, because where I come from, we believe people can change. And sometimes one person believing in you is enough. And also, Bowie liked you. Hyan laughed softly. She terrified me. Dion smiled. Cats are good judges. She saw something worth saving. Bowie moved on to Hyan's lap. Curled up, comfortable. Hyan stroked her fur gently, still amazed. How far things had changed. What will you do now? Hyan asked. Go home, Dion said, back to Earth. With her. Hyan nodded slowly. You'll visit someday. See where we come from. Hyan smiled. I'd like that. 1 year later, Hyan stood at the front of a classroom, an instructor now. Teaching new cadets, a new group entered. Nervous, eager. Point one stood out. Arms crossed, bored. Hyan recognized that look. After class, he approached him. What's your name? Cadet 47. Ask for your name. The cadet hesitated. Dajo. Hyan nodded. I used to be like you. Thought rules didn't matter. Thought I was above everything. What changed? Dajo asked. Hyan smiled slightly. I met a human. And his cat. At that moment, the door opened and a small black shape entered. Silent, graceful. Yellow eyes scanning the room. What is that? Dajo asked nervously. Hyan smiled. That's Bowie too. The daughter of the one who taught me. She helps me teach now. Bowie walked closer, stared at Dajo. He stepped back. She won't hurt you, Hyan said. Unless you deserve it. She teaches. Without words. I don't understand, Dajo said. You will. Give it time. That night, Hyan sat in his quarters at a photo on his desk. And Don, Bowie, all smiling, he remembered what Tiang once said, humanity's greatest strength isn't power. It's their ability to change others. And their cats. Those might be even more dangerous. Hyan smiled. Now he understood. The fear wasn't real danger. It was something deeper. Seeing yourself clearly and choosing to become better. Bowie too jumped onto the desk, pressed her head against his hand. He petted her gently, grateful for everything. He had been Cadet 13. Now he was Hyan, a teacher, and tomorrow he would help someone else change, just like he did. The cat purred beside him, yellow eyes glowing softly. Watching, always watching. And this time, Hyan didn't fear it. He welcomed it.